What's going on? So this is a lot of everything. This is a lot of different things that it would have been like a bunch of separate videos, but I don't want to annoy you with like a bunch of shorts or separate videos. And so I thought I'd just make one long video or longer video, like I normally do. So this is, I just got 50 heroic tokens, and this doesn't happen very often, so whenever it does, I always like to video them. I currently have 4 heroic items out of how many heroes are there? Out of the 14 heroes, there are a potential 10 more that I could potentially get. I stupidly unlocked Zeus, knowing that this would happen, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. There are so many heroic tokens heroic items that I'm eventually going to have to get anyway, in order to eventually, funnel all of those heroic tokens into the shop. Because if you didn't know, what you can do after you get all of the heroic items, I wouldn't recommend like upgrading a specific item unless you're, upgrading a main person. Like maybe like a mermaid item is probably pretty good. But you can then funnel all of your heroic tokens into celestial shards. And 5 heroic tokens, not that you get them very often, but 5 heroic tokens to get 70 celestial shards. This is how pro people are, basically unlocking everything. They're basically reincarnating everything because they maxed out, or they got all of the heroic items, and over the course of time, they've just been slowly hoarding heroic tokens because there was nothing to use it on. And so they were just like, they don't stop spending money, or they don't stop just gaining heroic tokens from the hero tavern. And so whenever they got their last heroic item, they have just been hoarding tokens, and they were able to just buy giant quantities of celestial shards. And so at a certain point, that's what you can do. And so that's why I just unlocked the Zeus. I was like, eventually I'm going to do this anyway. I've lived without good heroic items for a very long time. Trickster has become like one of the best items for me because that's what I've been using a lot. But there's a lot of potential bad stuff. I could spend 500 crystals to cycle, but again, like I said, you're gonna want to eventually get all of them anyway. And if you've been surviving this long without a heroic item, you can survive longer. In terms of what do I want? Gadget, obviously. I've been wanting Gadget forever. Bubble Wand, the mermaid item. I suppose the Mari item. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if I care about that. As much as like the Zeus glasses, the Necromancer, and like the Fortuna coin are, obviously, if you had a legendary hero, that's actually going to be my next topic. So let's see. Yeah, this is the I can choose. Yeah. Obviously I'm going to choose that. And then you can replace it. You can replace, you get 3 rerolls for the rate of 500, crystals, which is a lot of crystals. That's like $10. But yeah, I'm just going to get that. And that's the Necromancer item. Which is fine. It's not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible, I guess. I have like a level 30 Necromancer somewhere. I have a 33 Necromancer. So that's something. That's definitely a thing. I don't, it's another thing that I don't care about. But that is a thing. And they're going to rework Necromancer. They keep talking about that. Obviously not in this patch, but maybe in the next one. But they are talking about reworking Necromancer because currently nobody uses it at all because of Phantom mode. But that was the next thing that I wanted to talk about. And that is why I will not be getting legendary heroes. So there was a big part of me when Zeus rolled around, because I waited Fortuna. There was the Fortuna item. I thought about like investing into Fortuna, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for Zeus. Everybody's using Zeus. Zeus would go so great in Necromancer, but also everything else if I'm gonna spend this amount of money, I'm just gonna get the best, and that would be Zeus. And then Zeus rolled around, and if you're wondering how I would get these, this is the best rate. $50 for 10 fragments is the best rate in this game. It is if that is not an okay amount of money to you, you're never gonna get like legendary heroes, because that is the going rate. Trying to get legendary hero shards out of expeditions, you can, but one, it's incredibly rare to get it at all, and then two, you're only getting one shard every time you do get it, and three, you have a chance of getting one of three. So let's say you really want Zeus or Fortuna and you get a Necromancer shard, that is now a useless thing that you're not going to use. And then maybe you get a Fortuna shard and then you're like, yay. And then now you get a Zeus shard and you're like, yay. And then you get a Fortuna shard and then you're like, yay. But like, that is now splitting your attention on each one. Whereas with this, you're getting like 10 and then you're getting 10 and then you're getting 10. And it's a lot. It's I'm not going to say that it's not expensive. It is the most expensive investment that you will ever make in this game. It is at minimum a $2,000-ish investment. To max out a legendary. I think that to max out a legendary hero to 60 is 1,000, and then to go from 60 to 100 is another 1,000. I think that's how it works. Something in that area. That's assuming that you do it at this best rate, because the other rates in this game is like the $100 one that's in sales. This one, it's $100 for 10 shards, or you can do $50 for 10 shards. And then don't even get me started with the mirror match rate. The mirror match rate, I believe if you spend $50, you get 8 shards. So yeah, $50 for 10 shards is technically the best rate. And I'm going to tell you why I thought about doing it. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it. And this might sound like a petty reason, but it is a reason. And I feel like it's a pretty important reason. Money is obviously a reason. $150 every 3 months. I was going to justify that as, you know, because once you see like a Zeus, then it'll be a Fortuna, and then it'll be a Necromancer. Theoretically, I know that that's not always the case, but theoretically that's how it works. And so theoretically, you're spending like $150 because you can buy it 3 times. You're spending $150 every 3 months, which is $50 a month, which is still a lot, but it's not insane. It's not like, it's pretty insane. I don't know. But I mean, like, that is the investment. That is what you're doing at the best rate in the speediest amount of time. And here's the reason, here's my petty reason for not wanting to do it. My petty reason for not wanting to do it is that currently you technically can get them in expeditions. And what I mean when I say that is, let's say over the course of time, I spend $2,000 and max out a Zeus. Every shard after that goes to nothing. Do you have any idea how bad I feel every single time I get a gadget shard? Like when, you know, like when you're playing mirror match and they're giving you 15 shards and like in one go, they give you 15 shards and then they give you 20 shards. Do you know how bad I feel when I get like gadget shards, knowing that I have all 4 of these that I need still? And where do these 70 gadget extra shards go to? Nothing. What I just said about 10 shards at the best rate being $50, if you max out a Zeus and then over the course of the game you just obtain 50 shards or something just through expeditions, how bad would you feel knowing that you didn't need to spend, what is that? Every 10 shards is $50. So every 20 shards is $100. Yeah, if you had an extra 50, if you somehow obtained an extra 50 shards over the cap, You could have not spent $250 for, because at that point you've spent 200 you spent 250 extra dollars for no reason, because it's going to nothing. And this might seem like a petty reason, but I honestly don't want to invest into something knowing that each shard is that expensive. Knowing that each shard that I get over cap is not only not going towards anything, but I'm not even getting money back. It's money that I could have not spent. And it might seem like a petty reason, but like, that's what this game is. When they don't have this mechanic that we've been begging for. If anything, if I wanted to change one thing about this game, that's what I would change. Give us a reason to dump all of our commons, epics, rares in both heroes and units. Because every single time you get one of these chests and you get 80 of this and you get 20 of this, it's just going towards nothing. None of this matters. You get to a point where like, if you were to go through what you're actually paying for in a season pass, okay, well, I get 20 Hero Tavern coins. That's what I'm getting out of that. I'm getting 10 Hero Tavern coins. Everything else is useless. 500 gold, that's useless. 10 Hero Tavern coins, okay. 10 Hero Tavern coins here. At the best, you always have to go with the minimum. So at best, I'm getting 50 coins and 50 dust. 50 of 1,000 dust. And this is because, like, they don't have like, all of your extras that you're building up, it's not going towards anything. And so when you're looking at rewards, there's so many chests that do nothing. And there's nothing there's nowhere for that to go. You're not seeing anything with your account. You're buying something, and at some point maybe it would have helped you, but you get to a point where, like, none of that helps you anymore. If I were to spend $2,000 on a Max Zeus, and then over the course of time, like, because they haven't implemented a way to get rid of extra things, and I obtain 50 Zeus shards, that's $250 that I didn't need to spend at some point. And that would just make me mad. I have had no investment into my gadget since the beginning of this game. I've never spent any amount of money specifically for gadget shards. I might have spent money on an event pass or on a season pass, and I happened to get epic units, right? Or epic hero fragments, but I never specifically said I need to pay this amount of money so I can get this offer to get gadget shards. I have never done that. And now I have 70 over limit. And everything from here on out that goes over limit, it's just going towards nothing. And it just makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad because I could have had these. I spent $50 to get my mermaid to level 5. Very specifically, I spent $50 to get my mermaid to level 5. Very soon, at some point, I'm going to get a level 100 mermaid, and that $50 that I spent, it doesn't matter. I will always be able to look at that $50 and be like, well, now I have 200 extra mermaid shards. Guess I shouldn't have spent that $50 that long time ago, Like, that's how it would make me feel. And I don't like it, and I'm not going to do it. I'm going to exist free to playing, heroic or legendary hero shards. And I'm going to rock mermaid and gadget and trickster for a pretty long time, until they eventually put in a system, maybe, to get rid of extra things. And until that happens, I really don't want to spend money on things that eventually I will get extra of. I will have extra of because of a current mechanic in the game where you get them free to play. And then the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about was I am very close on so much of my equipment. Like, I don't have the 50. I have been, ever since the legendary or the mythic equipment update happened, I have not been spending any essence, and I've been just hoarding my essence, and I only have 2880. You need 15,000 essence. That's not even to talk about the hammers. The hammer situation is ridiculous. The only way to get hammers is through Hero Tavern, really high up there to where you're probably never going to get to. If you get to 40,000 or 41,000, that is like a milestone. You know, like you spent some amount of money and, you know, like you got to 41,000. But that's not even where it is. You get 10 at 47, you get 10 at 52, and then you get 10 at 65 and 10 at 70. I've never gotten to 70,000. Like, that is an amount of money that I'm not willing to spend per month. I've never gotten like any of this. And the only other way to get it, and I really hope enough people complain about hammers. I don't think they will because it's such a niche thing. But the only other way to get it is getting it through here, and you only get 20 per month. 20 per month, and you need, I want to say 150 to do a mythic item. Forge, merge? No, forge, merge. Yeah, you need 150 hammers. 150 hammers at the rate of 20 per month. 8 months? 8 months of getting 7k trophies or 8k trophies, whatever it is, to get a mythic item. That sounds kind of crazy. I don't know if there's like an offer for hammers, but maybe I would suggest maybe buying those in order to do this. Not that I have a lot of equipment that I can unlock, even if I had it, but I do have 2, and 2 is something. Prior to that update, I already had a hunter's jacket that I have both maxed, but I actually currently just maxed out 2 spears as well. I'm working on the Amulet of Swiftness. I have a 13 Amulet of Swiftness, but I also have a max one. And if I wanted to upgrade a weapon, you know what's ironic is I would have done like spear, no question, but I think that a lot of people are switching to crit bow, because there is enough speed with Gunslinger, with the high charisma on Gunslinger, to where people don't really care about speed anymore, and it's all about like just being able to hit harder, faster because of Phantom mode. And so I think a lot of people with a lot of different decks switch to crit bow. So eventually I'll be able to like get this one to epic, and then get this one to max, and then get this one to 20, and then legendary that one, and then get that one to 20. Equipment is insane in this game. This has been a like full account process, and I'm only at this stage of the game. I have a max growth tile, but I don't even have a second growth tile. I have a max sword, and I do have a secondary sword that's at 4, but you'd also need to get that one to 20 as well. But the real problem, honestly, is the hammers. Having to wait 8 months free to play to get 150 hammers is kind of crazy. But that's really the only other way is getting them through Hero Tavern, and that's not good. That's not a good way to get it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next video.